God in our house was flexible. You know, God in our house was total love. God in our house was total joy.
Hey everyone, my name is Karima B. I am the senior video producer for Kindred. And this next guest we're so blessed to have, literally. She is an award-winning gospel music artist, songwriter, host, and the star of a new show, Kingdom Business, executive produced by Devon Franklin, Holly Carter, Kirk Franklin, among others. And it's airing on BET and BET Plus. Please welcome the anointed Yolanda Adams.
Thank you so much, Karima.
Yeah, so tell us about this show and what can we look forward to?
Kingdom Business is about a young lady, myself, Denita Jordan, who heads her own record label. She is the queen of gospel, the reigning queen of gospel. And there are a lot of dynamics in her life that are kind of converging, and things are, without giving this show away, it's going to be a roller coaster ride every week. You're meeting folks from folks past, and how past decisions have shaped who they are, and how some of those past decisions have come back to bite them. It is full of mystery, suspense, intrigue, murder, all of that. Did I say murder? Yes, I said murder. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but I am so happy to play this character because there are a lot of things about her that are totally not like me. So I had to stretch a little to play her.
I was just about to ask, what attracted you to this role?
Well, the fact that I wasn't playing myself, because in most of the things that I've appeared in, I'm either playing myself or a gospel singer who's just like me, or, you know, cameos in different roles. But this one, it was so meaty. I'm like, oh yes, we've got to do this.
I love to see it. Oh my goodness. Can you expand on any themes that are related to the show? I noticed there was some redemption in there, some shame, even some deliverance. Can you expand on that?
Oh, there's so many things. We wanted to come to the forefront with themes that people are actually dealing with in their day-to-day lives. Now, it may not be exactly what all the characters are going through, but it's definitely something that humankind has experienced. You know, we've all experienced loss. We've all experienced heartbreak in relationships. We've all experienced heartbreak in family relationships, you know, and then someone coming in from your past to magnify what happened back then. You know, we've all been there. And I'm not going to say that we all had the experience that Denita had, because that's no. But we've all had to take a look of where we have progressed, and then how some people from our past want to keep us in that nice little neat box that they put us in. But it's like, no, we've evolved. And we should evolve as people, you know, and like I say all the time, I like to say humankind. We should all evolve to be better people.
I noticed that there were kind of two main archetypes of women that are featured, one rooted in traditional gospel music, traditional, religion, and the other kind of living on the opposite spectrum of that, trying to find herself. Can you discuss why it was important for you to be in a show that portrays multiple generations of faith?
We wanted to be so transparent and so authentic in our presentations of every character. My character has this staunch belief that things should be a certain way, and, you know, and nothing should, you know, nothing should polarize that or kind of like question that. And the other young lady, Rebel, she comes from a different, although she was kind of grounded in the church, she left because of the heartbreak. And that is happening every single day to people. And we wanted to show how a person who had faith lost their faith, or, you know, was kind of teetering on their faith. And then how a person who is supposed to have faith kind of deviates from the love walk of what faith requires. So we wanted to show that balance of how all of this works and how these people come together. And I think one of the fears of Denita is that she's more like that her nemesis than she really wants to believe.
I want to lean more into what you said about presenting yourself a certain way based off of faith or religion, because there's a lot of old school versus new school thought at play. So thinking about your own personal journey, right?
Yes.
You yourself are a mom, and how your personal journey has like informed your parenting. Have you found there were areas of your faith walk that you had to deconstruct raising your daughter?
You know, I grew up in a household where God was cool already. So I never had that traditional dogma or that traditional stigma of it has to be like this or it doesn't work. God in our house was flexible. You know, God in our house was total love. God in our house was total joy. So I never looked at my faith as anything other than cool. Because when you're around cool people who have faith in a God that can go to the skating rink with you just as he can go to any temple or church, you know, so that's how I was raised. And I was not raised with my faith being in one place, myself being a woman in another place, or you know, and then the acts of faith somewhere else. It was always taught to us that God is on the inside of you in every fiber of your being, to know that, you know, there was no pressure on her to be like me, sound like me. She can't help but look like me because she came from me. But, you know, I never wanted her to feel like she had to be a mini me, because I realized when I was blessed to carry her that she was going to be a different person, and it was a different generation. And then, you know, observing her as she grew into this amazing woman that she is now, it's like, wow, thank you, God, for allowing me to know the difference between nurturing and, you know, and what some call this extreme parenting that can happen on, you know, anywhere.
Absolutely. So based off everything you just said, can you talk about the significance of Black parents, especially embracing conversations around spiritual exploration with their children? You know what I mean? Because I feel like, you know, it's not always an open dialogue in our household. So why do you feel like it's important?
I think it's so important because our faith really does stabilize us. You got to start with a foundation, and whatever that foundation is. You know, I have friends who are Muslim and have been Muslim all their lives. I have friends who converted from Christianity to, you know, Islam, and, you know, I have Jewish friends. One of the things that we all know as parents, and then growing up with these people, these different people in my life, I wasn't like sheltered to where all we knew was Christianity. It wasn't like that, because my mother and father embraced everybody. We had great friends who were, you know, who didn't believe exactly what we believed, but we also got a chance to see the nuances of how so much of what we believe is the same. And so it's easy for me to have that conversation with Taylor about, okay, so what do you really think? You know, I'm not trying to put this on you, especially as she got into her teens, because I wanted her to have that relationship with God herself. And as she moved into that and had questions about, you know, why do we do this? Why do we do that? When she got to college, you know, and that's where a lot of people start exploring their faith and stuff. She was able to have a good answer of who she was, a phenomenal answer of where her spirituality was, where her faith lies, you know, how her walk would, you know, constitute whatever she did. Because there, again, in our household, there were no restrictions. You could believe, you know, what you want to believe, you know, find your niche, find your own relationship with God. And if that looks different from mine, I have to respect that, because I've had that all my life. And so to the parents that will probably be like, well, what's going on, Miss Yolanda? I think when we make all of these demands on our children that were not, you know, put on us, I think we do ourselves a disservice from having those tough talks. And in parenting, you know, we have to have those tough talks. Sometimes, it's about relationships. Sometimes it's about mental health. Sometimes it's about, sports and activities. And of course, spirituality. Whatever those tough conversations are, you better be ready for them. Because, in this Google world where you can just, Google something, and young people want to know, okay, so why is this other than that? And why does this work, not that,
You mentioned one of the tough conversations around mental health, which is a theme that I saw come up in the show. Your character, Denita, has a daughter who's struggling with grief and loss, but it seems that your character is kind of dismissive of it or not embracing of it. So I'm curious to know, for you personally, where do you land on how faith and mental health can coexist?
Well, here's the thing. I just believe, again, faith is like breathing. You either have it or you don't. And one of the things that we have to stop doing is trying to put a prayer band-aid on everything. We're gonna have to face some issues, because I'm a follower of the teachings of Jesus Christ. You have to look at what he did. Somebody came to him and they were aching or hurting or whatever. He never said, oh, okay, well, you did this, go on about your business. His first thing was, do you know what you need? Do you know what you want? What do you want? So those are questions that make a difference for me. And let's talk about mental health in the Bible. It's there.
So let's talk about it.
We got to talk about that. The man who had the demons that was running around in the graveyard, of course, in those days, they thought that multiple personalities and, folks dealing with those issues were demon possessed. And sometimes it's not so much them being demon possessed, it's them fighting within themselves. And so Jesus even dealt with that. And he told the man, hey, get in your right mind right now. And it wasn't that he did not take time to minister and nurture that thing. So we've got to be honest with ourselves, those of us who have faith. We've got to be honest that Jesus dealt with all of these things that we should, in 2022, be dealing with. So there should not be a separation between what your faith is doing and current issues in life. Those should actually marry.
Absolutely. And then I guess bringing that back to the show, I'm curious how this will all affect the relationship between your character and your character's daughter.
She really is in denial about some things that happened in her life as well. But she has been in this place where she has to, because of her upbringing, she has to make appearances look good. And so she and her daughter are not far off, just like she and Rebel are not far off. But because she's had to make this thing look a certain way all her life, she has put all of her issues to the back burner. And some of those things start erupting in this series. And it is absolutely amazing because my daughter and I don't want to give it away, but we do have a come to Jesus moment where we do see each other as beautiful humans. And I think that cliffhanger is going to give people oh my gosh, because I've made it a practice in the series to be just as mean to people as possible. But then I have to break myself down, and it's like, whoa, I have some ugly moments on camera that hopefully will help people get rid of this perfect persona. There's no one perfect. And, even the Bible doesn't tell us to be perfect. So I'm like, all right.
Your character's not perfect.
Not at all.
Not perfect. And it's so, but congratulations. Is this your first starring role in a TV show?
Yes, it is. This is my first starring, because, the cameos and things like that I've done, the ride along twos, the Monique show, and all of those things. I'm always playing myself or someone similar to me, the nice get along with everybody, can't we all get along person. But this was so meaty. It was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, I clutch my pearls, my little pearls, just a little bit. So everyone, you have a lot to look forward to. Please, please, please check out this show.
I hope y'all like it.